So today I'm going to be talking about the importance of setting realistic goals when you have a chronic illness. So being ambitious, it's vital, isn't it? It's vital for everyone to have some sort of ambition about them, something that they're striving for. And I wouldn't say it's any less when you have a chronic illness, but I do think it's very important that we are always looking about these ambitions, about them being sort of achievable ambitions or achievable goals. And why I say this is that it's very easy for us to make these great big, huge ambitions, these huge goals, to only for those ambitions, for those goals to be so big that it's causing us more pain and possibly causing us more issues with our chronic illnesses and causing more fatigue. And that is something that we cannot be doing. We cannot be doing. And I'm saying this and speaking to myself while I'm saying this, because this is something that I've been battling with a lot lately. I have a chronic back condition at the moment. It's not going to go away. And with other diseases that I've had, especially like the first disease that I was diagnosed with, polycystic ovarian syndrome, I had a lot of fatigue with that disease. But in some ways, I found that I could do things like exercise or I could eat in a certain way. And I found that that was really helpful for my fatigue. And, in particular, when it comes to exercise with this condition that I have now, it is really difficult to not have really big, ambitious goals, because I have to be very conscious that if I push too much, then I might be causing a lot of pain. But in the opposite direction, if I don't do enough, then I'm also causing pain. And so I have to find this middle ground, which is really difficult. It's so difficult a lot of the times, because I don't know, at times, I don't know where that is. And so there are days where I feel absolutely fantastic and I feel okay. Maybe I can push a bit. And, pushing at the time, it doesn't feel like I'm pushing. It doesn't feel at all like I'm pushing. It feels that I could do a lot more. But then the next day, I pay for it. I pay for it with more pain and I pay for it with more fatigue. And so it's really difficult to know what those realistic goals are, or what those achievable goals are, because I have to meet somewhere in the middle, and at times it's difficult to know where that middle is, and it can look like I'm doing absolutely nothing, even though that is making a difference to what's going on with my pain and my fatigue. And so you may have heard of this saying, go hard or go home. And for a lot of years I've been in that kind of frame of mind where I've got to push, or I've got to push myself to push my body, because if I don't do this, then I'm not going to get the result. And so now I can't be thinking like that at all. I can't go hard. I've got to go really easy. I've got to go really easy, and it can be quite difficult when you've had that mentality of going hard, to then having to train yourself to go really easy. But it is a huge no-no for us with chronic illnesses to be going hard, to be pushing. It is important that we go small, that we go really easy. And so we have to be also looking at how we can break down these ambitions, or break down these huge tasks that we have, how we can break those down so that they're small and that they're manageable goals and steps. And so, like I've mentioned with the exercise, for me, I can't do an hour. I can do it, but I can't do it with what the repercussions might be if I do push to do an hour, because that will lead to more pain and discomfort, possibly fatigue. And so I have to look at exercise as being in 5-minute bursts, or sometimes 10-minute bursts. I can sometimes do a few of those bursts throughout the day. Some days I can only manage doing it once a day, because my body's just screaming out in so much pain that I can only do once a day. And that's kind of things that we have to tell ourselves. It could be if we're looking to cook a meal and that meal's going to take us 2 hours, well, we might have to break that up. So we're doing parts of that throughout the day instead of doing it in a huge 2 hour burst, because we can't stand, or we might not be able to be chopping up things, or we might not be able to stir things. So it might be that we have to break that activity up. So we're doing parts of that throughout the day. Or if we have days where, excuse me, if we have days where we can be doing more, then we have to prepare in advance so that we can do those things. So we have to just chop things up into small manageable steps, so that we're not using up too much energy, so we're not using up all of our chronic illness spoons. So big goals can lead to small amounts of energy, and that is not what we want. We don't want that. So we want to make sure that we are looking at maybe smaller goals, that we have more sustained energy. That's what we're needing. So incorporating routines can be empowering. And it's better that we are looking at small tasks that we can be doing throughout the day, throughout our week, because it is an empowering thing. It is helping us with gaining strength mentally, physically, and it's giving us this resilience that, yeah, we can still do things. I think when you're diagnosed with a chronic illness, you can feel like you are not worthy of things at times. But if we are just making sure that we're packing our day with some small tasks and we're achieving those and we're getting these wins, then it just shows that, yeah, we can still do things. We've still got things that we can be doing. So when you are choosing your routines, it's important to keep them small. Keep them small. And when you are keeping these things small, it will allow us to be kind of giving us these like positive wins throughout the day. And that's what we really need. We really need that, so we can be enhancing our spirit and enhancing our well-being. Hello, Cheryl here. Right, so I have a newsletter called Cheryl Shares, and with my newsletter I talk about the ups and downs of living with a chronic illness. And then my background also is that I'm trained as a nutritional therapist and a yoga teacher. So in the newsletter I will also talk about the benefits of vitamins and minerals and foods and certain diets. I'll also talk about the ups and downs of having a chronic illness, because I'm diagnosed with 3 of them, and so I understand the ups and downs, the battles of living with a chronic illness, and the kind of the messages that we have to give ourselves to motivate us to keep going. It can be quite easy to kind of like be sitting back and not doing things and letting our conditions kind of take over. So this is about motivating you to get moving and to be doing things, and to not let these things rule us. We don't want to be ruled by chronic illness. So if you are interested in my newsletter, if you go into the description area, click on the link and then come and join me. Okay, so you take care.